Prata smarāmi hṛdi saṃsphuradātmatattvaṃ saccitsukhaṃ paramahaṃsa-gatiṃ turīyam yatsvapna-jāgara-suṣuptamavaiti avēti nityaṃ tad brahma niṣkalam aham na ca bhūtasaṅghaḥ. You can join. Prata smarāmi hṛdi saṃsphuradātmatattvaṃ saccitsukhaṃ paramahaṃsa-gatiṃ turīyam yatsvapna-jāgara-suṣuptamavaiti avēti nityaṃ tad brahma niṣkalam aham na ca bhūtasaṅghaḥ. As we have been discussing, so Prata smarāmi, Pratah in the early morning, smarāmi, I remember. So when I remember, I don't allow my mind to think unnecessarily. I don't allow mind to become mechanical. I don't allow my mind to function the way it wants. So I ask mind to remember, recollect. As we have discussed, you remember that thing, or those thoughts pops up, those thoughts hits you, whichever thought, either it was unattended, unfulfilled, neglected, or later on this unattended, unresolved, neglected thought have been addressed, have been taken care. So when they have been taken care, they also will come back. Like the story goes, I was thirsty. So that I was thirsty, when I remember, what does it mean? Did I remain thirsty all the time, or my thirst was being taken care later on? Both way. It was unattended, later on it was resolved. So including your happiness or your sorrow, we'll be seeing this thing. Happiness here, sorrow, pleasure rather happiness. Your pleasure or pain comes under these categories. So that's why you dwell upon yourself, the reality of yourself, because morning always you visualize as a different person. Without your knowledge, you think you are a mother, you are a father, you are this, you are that. Because based on this or that, you start functioning in life. And whichever thought is predominant in you, please remember, that is the most important aspect. Whichever thought is predominant, and all this thought, you as a different person, you in the outside world, you not as. So here, you means the I, the reality of this Atma-tattva, the reality of myself, that science, that really shines within the heart of me. That's why I do remember, I do contemplate. And what is that? There we stopped. Saccitsukhaṃ. Saccitsukhaṃ. So when he says Saccitsukhaṃ, generally my remembrance or whatever memory comes to me, either it is related to pain or pleasure. Some way it is connected to pain or pleasure. Even though sometimes it appears as though it is neither connected to pain or pleasure, but don't worry, once you start dwelling upon, again it will lead to either pain or pleasure. So that means me always remembered, either I am connected to some pain or some pleasure. But here is being highlighted, I am someone, my nature is Saccitsukhaṃ. Sat means the existence. Chit means awareness. Sukham is not the pleasure part, the comfort part. Here is called happiness, which is completely opposite to the pain. The basis, the foundation of all comfort, you can say. That we'll see carefully. He says, Saccitsukhaṃ. So I am someone, the existence. Because of me, everything exists. That's the most important aspect, please look at. First, let us look at psychologically. Then we'll go to the truth, the teaching part, the reality. When any worries or anxiety comes, when a thought bugs you, the first thing is you become insecure when your existence is being challenged. Just observe this point. When your existence is being challenged, that time you become insecure. So that or the thought that is related to your insecurity or that which challenges your existence, your presence, that thought is painful for you. And because of that reason, all sort of insecurity comes in your life. But here, psychologically, when you say, I am the existence, that means I don't have to be worried. You can see psychologically how it works. If you look at very ordinary way, because you exist, that's why your family exists for you, or because your family exists, that's why you exist for them. Just look at. I am repeating psychologically. Because you exist, that's why your family exists for you. Remember, your family exists for you. Your family will exist whether they are or not, for you. Or because the family exists, that's why you exist for them. It looks as though both are interconnected. But in reality, because you exist, that's why your family exists for you. Today, if you are dead, if you are no more, does really family exist for you? Just imagine this concept. Now, you people are different parts. For you people, now this is a small town in India, small hill place, called Uttarkasi exists. Because you have come here, or you know me. That's why now this place exists for you. There are plenty of places in the world. If I ask, like for today, Kedarnath, where the Lord Shiva and that one of the Jyotirlinga Swayambhu, that door got opened today. Does that place exist on your head? Or in your head, not on in your head? It doesn't exist. Only that thing or those things exist, whatever is related to you. Please understand, only those things are existing for you which are related to you. If things are not related to you, you don't bother, thank God. So that means morning you need to reassure yourself. Those people who are important to me, or I consider that they are important to me because I feel I am important to them. Or they look at me as important because there is some transaction. There is some type of exchange. And this exchanging thing will not happen at home. That's why especially most of the mother, they get frustrated when the child grows up. And sometimes they say, I sacrificed. Why did you sacrifice? And child will say, why did you sacrifice and why are you reminding me? Just observe, these are the points, how it works. So you remember those people, or that sort of thing comes to you where your existence is being taken care, where you don't feel insecure. And secondly, chit, where you are being accepted. The self-existence and self-acceptance is taken care with these two words, I am Sat and I am Chit. So once you know that you exist by yourself, whether people or other things are there or not, still you exist and you will be continuing to exist. And of course, your awareness, being awareness, you can accommodate anything and everything. So that means you can accept yourself too. If these two things happens, then sukham, the happiness. Because your happiness does not depend upon anybody or anything. That is how you function in your life little differently. If you discover that today my happiness depends upon this person or that thing, based on that your mood changes. Because you know your happiness is depending upon that person. And if you discover that person is coming to your house or you have to meet that person, what happens to you? That day morning you are very fresh, you are energetic. So here is being highlighted, I am Sat, I am Chit, also I am Ananda Swarupaha. Not, do you know here, not Sukha, not happiness related to the opposite of pain. Because opposite of pain is a pleasure, but I am Ananda Swarupaha. I am the nature of happiness. It's exactly like the nature of water is in room temperature. Whichever temperature, wherever. The temperature is atmosphere temperature. If you heat it up, if you warm it up, automatically it will come down to the room temperature. Because that is what the nature of water. The water has to accommodate, absorb or go along with the room temperature. So if that is the purpose of water, please understand, me is as such. My nature is as such, to be happy all the time. If people put some problem, create some problem like heating up water or warming up water, that will happen for a few minutes, maybe for a few hours. After that, again, I come back to my own nature, that is called happiness here. So that means in my life, basically I am a happy person. In between so-called unhappiness or misery or pain or also pleasure gets into. But unfortunately, those moments becomes so different. I am lost or I got carried away. That's why in the morning I remind myself. So what I remind? I am someone need not be affected, need not look for acceptance, and of course I need not get bothered about rejection either. If somebody rejects, that is his or her problem. These are the psychological work happens without your knowledge. Because please understand, there are two ways of looking at our problem. Generally, psychology will say, try to resolve, try to analyze, try to analyze and resolve. So in the process, what happens to the mind? Mind becomes a real devil. The more you try to analyze, the more you make your mind stronger. This is one way of looking at life. So what we say here very carefully, that instead of analyzing everything in details, improve yourself, elevate yourself. Once you improve yourself and elevate yourself, you will discover you don't have to analyze at all, because those things are not required to be analyzed. It is exactly like when you are walking on the road. If you are ordinary person, you are walking on the road and the dog starts barking, you get scared. The way you analyze it, no, dog will never bark. Dog will not do anything. You can analyze in any means. All the dogs are very friendly here. All are domesticated. All are this way, that way. Not only that, even if they bite also nothing will happen because the injection and everything has been taken care. Don't worry. It is not going to work. If a dog starts moving, you get scared. Whereas when you elevate yourself, that you are a person, you are a human being. Let the dog come, how does it matter to me? Dog's job is to bite. It's like we say that when the elephant moves on the road, definitely dog has to bark. So when you elevate yourself, let the dog bite. How does it matter to you? In fact, there is no need. In fact, sometimes you will not hear that dogs are barking at you. Can you see this point? This is what happens here. So when you elevate, when you start self-disciplining, that is what I am highlighting. You people, and especially present generation, are very capable of analyzing, self-analysis. They analyze everything. They try to find out a solution for everything. Please understand, you can analyze others' problem. And you can try to find out also some type of solution for that person. But when it comes to you yourself, it's very difficult to analyze. Because when you start analyzing, always you will start analyzing from your standpoint, whichever is convenient to you. That's why you never get solution. That's why instead of self-analyzing, I would rather say self-discipline yourself. Once you do self-disciplining, you will discover there are many things you don't have to analyze. This is just a passing phenomenon, passing stage in your life. That's why allow things to pass. More you emphasize on disciplining yourself. And this is what here you need to do. So when can you discipline? When you look at yourself that you are a comfortable person. Your existence is not being challenged. That basic comforts, basic acceptance is being taken care. That is what is being highlighted here. Saccitsukhaṃ. I don't have to get disturbed. I don't have to get worried because I am someone who is the existence. Even if these people throw me out physically, please understand, still I cannot be thrown away. That is how life is. That's why you will start functioning in a different way altogether. Just observe yourself. If you are confined to your house, if you are confined to a small place, if you are being thrown away from that place, or your appearance or your presence is being challenged over there, what will happen to you? Your world will collapse then and there. Does it happen or not? Whereas when you understand you are everywhere, but you happens to be there more comfortable, then what happens? If this person throws you away, fine, maybe my time is over, let me keep moving. That is the confidence, that is the understanding. With that understanding, when you keep moving, wherever you go, that place becomes yours. In fact, you are comfortable everywhere and everybody becomes comfortable with you. That happens when you start, especially in the morning, start visualizing saccitsukhaṃ. I am the existence. I am the awareness. And I am Ananda Swarupa. Me to be happy, I don't have to depend upon anybody or anything. That's the most important aspect. Me to be happy, I don't have to depend upon anybody or anything in life. And moreover, I am someone called turīyam. Generally, I am unhappy, I am disturbed, or all my behaviors become differently, all my behaviors are different, or I behave differently because I consider either I am belong to waking state or dream state or deep sleep state. Because always I am the one always running behind experience, and I consider that I am the experiencer. So all my problem, please understand, all my problem is connected to one thing, that I consider that I am experiencer. In the morning when I get off, always I look for more experiences, different type of experiences, strengthening my experiences, all my activities. Please understand, it's a very serious problem we have. All my activities is related or is connected to strengthen my experiences. And if my experiences are not strengthened in a given way, the way I have thought of, if something goes wrong, now what happens? My day is destroyed. So that means when I am being challenged that I am not an experiencer, maybe as an witness, as an outsider, then what happens? Now I am no more happy, comfortable. That is what happens in day-to-day life. But he says, please understand in the morning, you are not an experiencer. You are not waking state. Because as long as you consider that you are waking state, that means you are relating to the experiences that is happening in your waking state. Nor you are dream state either. That means the dream that you have gone through, you are not related either. Of course, deep sleep, when you get up after deep sleep, when somebody wakes you up, how you feel, that's a very painful thing. Neither that also. Please understand. But you are someone turīyam. You are the fourth, means the one who witnesses, not experiences. The one who witnesses all these three experiences. Because of whose presence the dreamer exists, the waking personality exists, or the experiences in the field of waking state happens, and of course because of whose presence the sleep continues. The one who exists in all these three fields of experiences, but not as an experiencer, but one who witnesses all these things. And I am that. So if I am witnessing, this is called, please understand, if I am witnessing, that means I don't have to really get involved in anything deeply in my life. Can you see this point? I don't have to really involve myself deeply for anything in my life. The problem is this in our life. You get involved in many things. Why? To cover up your sense of insecurity. To cover or not to face your insecurities. All you just observe. Why you get involved? Why you get engaged in many things in your life what is not required at all? That's why I am told here in the morning, you are somebody. You witness all these experiences, all these three fields of experiences, three states. That means if something comes, just observe, allow them to pass away. Like even this shall pass away. Oh, but what about my goal? I have a lot of goals. He says, don't worry. This is what me. That is what the goal of including Paramahamsas, the great sannyasis. Gatiṃ, here Gati means the goal. They look for. So what do they look for? Please understand. Beautifully you need to say, Paramahamsa-gatiṃ, the goal of the great enlightened person, personalities or persons. Paramahamsa, we say beautifully. When we look at all these sannyasi, that different type of sannyasis which we have, let me not get into too much in details. And among them, Paramahamsasannyasins are the best. Because when the Paramahamsa mantra is being given, that person becomes Paramahamsasannyasi. And that sannyasi is considered, please understand, generally that sannyasi is called Vidvat sannyasi. So the one who knows the truth and dwells upon the truth with the commitment towards the knowledge and with the lifestyle. And this Vidvat sannyasa, they live life just for the sake of the society, not because of their whims and fancies. So they just live because what else to do? Just to, you can say, to exist their prarabdha. That's why always their life keeps moving as the situation demands. And this sort of people look for what? And what is their goal? Is nothing, me, myself. This is the thought. That means what I am doing in the early morning is expected, or that is the end goal of great souls, great enlightened personalities. And I was one step ahead because they are in that understanding. That's why they are considered as great personalities. Whereas me, who thinks that I am a dream state or deep sleep state or waking state, that's why all sort of problems. That's why let me remind, let me really reassure, let me dwell upon this understanding that I am somebody who witnesses all the three periods of experiences, and in which direction I am moving, that is the direction in my life. Why and how? Please understand. Beautifully, we need to really be careful. If we observe life, that life somehow moves. Just observe yourself. Life somehow moves. But you identify with your life or with your lively situations or the incidents that occurs in your life. Then you try to own up. You try to take the advantage, take the publicity, please understand. Take the advantage, take the publicity out of that situation that you have done. or that has happened because of you. And whole life, knowingly or unknowingly, you are trying to take the publicity out of a given situation. Have you not observed? Like exactly like a typical politician. What does a politician do? Any given situation does very openly. Of course, in a sophisticated, in different way, according to their maturity, they try to take the publicity out of a situation. Now just look at yourself. Do you do the same thing or not? Do you take the publicity or not? Any situation that happens, do you publicize or not? Because of me. Do you involve yourself or not? Do you try to take the advantage of that situation or not? Please understand. If that is the purpose, now tell me, who will suffer? That's why in the morning you are again being told, don't publicize. Don't try to address, don't try to look at the situation from your standpoint or for your advantage sake. Let the experience come in. And when the experience comes in, let me observe. And once I start observing, as an outsider, I can deliver the best, I can do the best. That is what they call maturity in my life. And of course, very nicely, he says beautifully that I am someone, yatsvapna-jāgara-suṣuptamavaiti nityaṃ. So that which exists, beautifully, you need to really, that which exists in three states, whether it is dream, waking state, dream state, or deep sleep state. And of course, at the same time, how it, that we discussed, avaiti, witnesses and illumines. It illuminates because of whose presence we have discussed in details. Because of whose presence the sleep happens. That's why I get up and say, I slept very well. That me was there. And who witnessed the sleep. And dream, after dreaming says, oh, I dreamt. Of course, in the waking, yes. That means when especially you can observe how this waking state and you, when you come out of the waking state, how you reform. My dream was bad. Even though you're going through painful dream, please understand, even though the tiger was chasing you in your dream, what happens? Still you say, oh, it was bad. There is objectivity. Unless the same tiger keeps or different tigers chases every day, because again that becomes a really nightmare. That's why without your knowledge, you are not able to dissociate. Already projection is there. That is another level of misunderstanding. So that's why here it's being said, I am someone. So who is, please understand, nityaṃ, not somebody exists today, not tomorrow. I am the eternal, and which illumines all these three fields of experiences. And moreover, he says, not only I am nityaṃ, the eternal, the Brahma that we are talking, the totality that we are talking about, all about it, Tad Brahma, that which exists in three periods of time, that is me, and free from all sort of this beautiful, that niṣkalamahaṃ, free from all sort of parts, all sort of small things. I am someone partless, and moreover, I am not the embodiment, or you can say beautifully use the word conglomerate, or the combination of body and mind, bhūtasaṅghaḥ. Body and mind, he said, bhuta means vāco, 5 elements. I am not the combination of 5 elements, because if we say 5 elements, please go back. How this gross body and subtle body takes place, happens. This panchikarana through the grossification and ungrossified elements. That's why he beautifully brings, I am not the combination of 5 elements, both grossified and ungrossified. But the problem is with me here. Always I start thinking, me as body, me as father, me as mother. That's why there is a problem in my life. Just observe this point. When I am talking to you people, if I, while talking, do not give appropriate gap between the sounds. The word that I am using, if I don't give appropriate gap between two sounds, I don't give appropriate sounds, because I said the same statement, you know it now. Suppose if I say same word without any gap, will you be able to understand? I will only create noise. That's why if you observe your life, how between both the sounds there is a gap, appropriate gap is important. Or else I say, I want. Then you will say, what you want, please tell. There is another extreme. We have a beautiful saying, somebody told me, please Swamiji, sometimes you are behaving like one of the Prime Minister of India, his number, like a Bajpayee. So each word, so everybody, because he was such a great orator, so people will be listening to him, what he is going to talk next word, when he was Prime Minister of India later on. However, coming back to the point here, so beautifully says that I have to look at myself, that I am not connected to anybody or anything. At the same time, please understand, I am not connected to anybody or anything. At the same time, I am connected to everybody. I am someone. That is the understanding. In my presence, everything happens, but at the same time, I am not affected by anything. I do what is to be done, and whatever happens, let it happen, because I am not body and mind. I am not a father, I am not a mother, I am not anybody. That too in the early morning. I am as I am. I have picked up the role. In front of my parents, I am a child. In front of my children, I am mother or father. In front of the country, I am a citizen. In front of others, as the person demands, accordingly I am. If that person doesn't bother, doesn't care, doesn't look at, I am as I am. That becomes much more easier and clear. Please understand this Corona. Corona actually is a beautiful way to live in life. Please understand. Being alone and feeling lonely, there is a big difference. Being alone and feeling lonely, there is a big difference. A person can be alone, need not be lonely. Person can be with people, still feels lonely. This Corona is teaching. Many people are alone, feels lonely. Many people are with people, also feels lonely. That's why they are so restless. They want to go out. Little relaxation, they go crazy. They create different type of false declaration to go around here and there. Many things happens. Because please understand, this is what, when you associate yourself as somebody, as someone, or if you think that you are a bhūtasaṅghaḥ, you are the combination of all these 5 elements. That means always you would like to be extrovert. You cannot be satisfied, or I would rather say you will not be contented. That's a better word. You will not be contented with the present situation. Always your mind will go back to either past or will look for future. Very rarely you will be with the present, and whenever you try to face the present, always mind says, okay, next, like restlessness will continue. Please understand, in the morning, never become restless. That's the essence of this first verse. Number one, when you start remembering, you try to tell your mind that, oh mind, you are my servant. Start listening to me. And I am here to create a break. I will not allow that mechanical way of thinking. I will not encourage the mechanical thinking that is happening in me all the time. I am here to ask you why you are speeding up unnecessarily. And my job is to put a brake, apply a brake, to ask you, don't be mechanical, be a creative. That's why I negate three things in the morning. Starting with, we say beautifully that first thing comes that it is mine. What will happen to this? What will happen to that? My child, my house. So when this sort of things happens, when there is really very seriously I get carried away, then what happens? I need to negate those things very carefully. Because remember, if I don't negate this sort of things carefully, definitely there will be problem in my life. That's why we say first thing is negating your ego, connected to many things, that which is connected to many things in life. That happens with this. First is called self-surrender. That's why in the morning you have the attitude of surrendering to yourself. You are not encouraging yourself. You are not really fueling your other or outer self. So once you do this self-surrendering, you will discover the body that is identified personality. The body, please understand, when you have identified with the body and you create a personality, a persona, that thing is being challenged, that thing is being put into halt. Second thing comes the negation of the body as me. That also happens through this viveka, this understanding, this analysis. And of course, beautifully also happens that the negation of mind. This is mine, that is mine, this, all these things. That happens because of this understanding. You create a distance, that is objectivity, what we call as vairagya.